Hey guys, it's Rob and I'm back today with another state recap video. This is the third video in our series. It's the third state that we traveled to in our RV life, and that's Texas. Texas, as you may know, is a gigantic state. I think everybody understands that. Everything's bigger in Texas. And honestly, when we sat down to recap this state and all of our visits and experiences in Texas, it was going to be a massive video. So everything's bigger in Texas, including the recap videos. And what we decided was just to scale it back and focus on one particular part of Texas. And for us, we decided to choose Circuit of the Americas. This is a world-class racetrack. It's located in Austin, Texas, just to the southeast of the city. And it's somewhere that we've spent time as a family, having recreational time, for events and motorsports activities, but also we've done a lot of work there, had a lot of work visits, and I've personally ridden on the racetrack a few times with a motorcycle. So we have a whole lot of ties to this track and we have a whole lot of fun every time we go. I say that sometimes it's frustrating. We always end up having fun, but sometimes there's some frustration. So what we wanted to do here is recap some of our past visits to COTA, let you know what you can expect when you go to the racetrack, and then also we want to share with you something special, and that is our first trip with Large Marge. For those of you who don't know, Large Marge is our new to us RV. It's a 1998 Fleetwood American Tradition, and Large Marge was not in great shape when we got her. She is a project vehicle, and we've been living in the RV and somewhat traveling in it, although we've run into our fair share of problems. And COTA was our first trip that we took with Large Marge. So you're about to see here some of our past experiences, but you're gonna ride along with us and feel the frustration that we had with our first trip with Large Marge, and that was to COTA late last year. So stick around. So let's start way back in September of 2014. We went to our first race at Circuit of the Americas with some friends of ours. This was the Lone Star Le Mans, which is a 6-hour race, and it's part of the World Endurance Championship. 6-hour race is absolutely crazy in and of itself, but to have Ferraris and Porsches and Audis and Corvettes and Aston Martins and everything on the track together was really amazing. There was even a rainstorm in the middle of the race, which made for an even more spectacular event. Race went on into the night. We had just a great time. Would totally do that again. And after that first race, we actually started just attending two-wheel events naturally. So 2016, we went to the MotoGP races, and that was absolutely insane. That's really when I started getting into motorcycles, and going to this event turned me towards racing. Really got me geared into racing motorcycles. So I guess you could say that this weekend was kind of where our business started. We had a lot of fun at MotoGP, and actually I've taken the kids since then. Just the kids and I have gone down. I think we went in 2018. But we've camped at the track in numerous locations, and it's a lot of fun to camp there. I've even ridden on the track, like I said, several times. But aside from that, we actually have a business tie to this track. If you look, this is part of the 2022 MotoGP championship, and you can see all these umbrellas here that say Bison on them. That's our business. All of these racers in the North America Talent Cup were wearing Bison for this event, which meant Tasha and I were down in the paddock a lot and working. So with that little snippet of clips, you might now see why we have chosen this racetrack to feature, because as a family, we've had a lot of fun there, like I said, recreationally, but also on a professional level. Tasha and I kind of realized maybe during these events that we wanted to increase our presence in the racing scene, in the community, and we wanted to keep moving forward so that we could eventually get on the world stage. And that happened in 2022 when we supported 20 of the fastest youth racers in North America by being the exclusive gear provider for the North America Talent Cup. And that got us front row seats to MotoGP. We were down on hot pit. And you talk about a dream come true for a motorsports fan like myself and like Tasha. It was really rewarding and very cool, but it was also a lot of work. Now, let's talk about this latest visit. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna start with us loading the RV up, with getting Large Marge ready to go. I want you to pay attention to the challenges that I'm already facing as we pack up the RV for our maiden voyage. We're loaded up. We've got the under bins almost completely full on the new rig. You know, there's a lot of storage space, but we did use it all. We'll put it that way, and we could still use a little bit more. But as you can see here on the other side, the pass-through I've got a little bit of space. I just got a couple more things to pack up and we're ready to roll. Tasha ran home to grab the Brake Buddy controller, which I forgot. Generators running and keeping the interior cool. Unfortunately, we have a bit of a power issue, so I have a cord running to a trickle charger for the batteries. I think there's a inverter problem. Go figure. So another little thing to address, but other than that, we're good to go. So we continued to load the RV, and at this point, we're realizing that everything's going to fit. The Ranger hooks up and works, functions properly behind the RV. It was our maiden voyage with Rango hooked to the back of the RV. And we start to get excited about getting on the road instead of being anxious about getting everything loaded in. Unfortunately, we had that looming electrical issue, and so that was adding anxiety. We knew that this rig wasn't perfect. This was kind of a shakedown maiden voyage, but we also knew we had to get to Austin. We couldn't not go because this was a work trip, not necessarily a recreational trip. So I was starting to get anxious about just getting all the way to Austin without a problem. On top of that, temperatures were very, very hot. It was 105 to 110 degrees. And about halfway down, we realized this electrical issue was not something we were going to be able to overcome. We had to make a pit stop here at the Love's travel station in Guthrie, Oklahoma, just north of Oklahoma City, and we took advantage of their Love's hookup sites. So big shout out to Love's. They have these Love's hookups, which are full RV hookup spots that you can camp in over the night or for a few nights, and thankfully this came in really handy on this particular evening because I had to break out the books. I had to look up all the wiring schematics, do some testing with my multimeter, and figure out what was going on with our electrical system. Eventually, I found a way to kind of circumvent a bad part and get us down the road where we could at least have air conditioning on our way down to Austin. So we headed out again in the morning. And eventually, we arrived at Circuit of the Americas. Now, where do we go from here? We made it to Circuit of the Americas. We're here for what's supposed to be 4 days. Today we saw 109-degree temperatures, which was really brutal, but the RV did pretty dang good. It got a little warm, which is pretty normal, for these engines in this heat. But I actually just changed the transmission mode, kept the revs up but the speed lower, and it stayed well within operating range. We got to the track, however, we've parked, and I figured out I left my ignition on the Toad, on the Ranger, so once we got going, the door's automatically locked. We only have one key with us, and that key is in the ignition. The truck's locked. So we can't back up or do anything like that. We can't get the truck to run around. As we were pulling in here, Tasha's computer fell off of the dining room table, and it broke. So she has no computer this weekend for work. And then I laid down, I said, let me just close my eyes and take a nap for a little bit. The generator shut off, it overheated, so no ACs. It's currently 105 degrees, according to my watch, 105 degrees here in Austin. So I said, okay, let me just pull the awning out. I parked with the passenger side to the sun so we could pull the awning out, get some shade, and the awning is broken or something. It won't come out. It only comes out on one side. It's half unfurled. I don't really know what to do. So I'm kind of at a loss right now for everything. I don't know what to do. Needless to say, I'm exhausted, I'm hot, and a little bit frustrated because new RV, new problems. We knew that was going to be the case, but I really thought everything would work, to just well enough to get us down the road. But yeah, this awning thing is frustrating. So I gotta get the ladder out now and see if I can see it's kind of jacked up. I gotta get the ladder out and fix this thing. Let the generator cool down. Hopefully, once it cools, it'll restart. I've got the hood open now. See if it cools down more. Hopefully this weekend goes smoothly, work-wise. Don't really have it in me. So as you can see, we had just arrived at COTA, and I was already feeling anxious and exhausted. And we had 3-4 solid days of really hard work ahead of us. I knew that was the case. So that was looming on me even heavier. Tasha and the kids were inside trying to work, trying to stay cool, and I was really hoping that our generator would stay running, keep the air conditioners going, and not overheat because we had no power hookups. Now, when you go to Circuit of the Americas, you can camp in some power hookup spots, but they are commanding a premium price-wise, and frankly, we couldn't afford that. Not only that, but those spaces are located pretty far away from the paddock, which is where we needed to be to work. So these spots, you're going to find them on the back stretch. There's a RV corral on the back straightaway, which is a great place to park and watch. They also have a swimming pool and really nice bathrooms and showers, but again, not ideal for us. So we were parked outside of turn 3. There's a bridge, a pedestrian bridge that crosses the track right about the S's, the red, white, and blue S's about turn 3. And anyway, we were on the other side of that pedestrian bridge out in the middle of this field where we didn't have any power and we were pretty exposed to the elements. There's no shade, there's a lot of wind, and well, you're gonna find out where the wind became a factor later. But first, let's talk about what happened the next morning. Here's the update from the following morning. It's a beautiful day so far here in Circuit of the Americas. It's not 100 degrees yet. It's only like 85 or 90, and still working on the electrical, but we had a key overnighted from the house, and that means I can unlock the Ranger because I locked my keys in here. Chances are the battery is dead, but I can jump start it. We can figure that out. And nah, we're dead as a doornail. Dead. I knew that was the case. So, all right, I'm gonna have to jump this. Tasha has an appointment at 12:45 at Best Buy to get her computer looked at since she dropped it while we were driving in here yesterday and broke her computer. So it's just been one thing after another. I'm still trying to diagnose the electrical issue with the RV. I'm not convinced that it's just a solenoid problem. Still think it's our main computer, you know, for the batteries for the whole rig, and so that's a problem, but I'm going to be looking at that. And I'm just trying to get everything kind of working before it gets too hot today, so fingers crossed. All right, truck started. Thanks to the RV for getting this thing jumped, but check this out. I went to disconnect the tow bar. Look at that. Somehow our non-binding tow bar bound and bent really badly. I have no idea how that would have even happened. That sucks. It's time to replace this guy after 4 years of use, I guess. Man. If it's not one thing, it's another, I swear to God. So you remember how I was talking about the awning, saying it wouldn't come out? I was frustrated with it. Well, it turns out it was an adjustment that needed to be made. I made that, I unlocked the awning, and I was able to get the awning out. So as you can see in this video, I felt like the RV gods were already not smiling upon us, but I eventually got the battery situated, I got the generator squared away, and everything was good. I got the awning out, we had shade. But the awning's kind of a pain to operate, especially if you've never done it before. And this being our maiden voyage was the first time we'd used the Carefree awning. So we went to bed that night, and Tasha said, should you put the awning in? Check the weather. There was absolutely no sign of any incoming inclement weather. The wind was the weather was calm, zero ripples in any kind of water, not even a blade of grass moving. It was just super calm. And I said, nah, I'm gonna leave the awning out. We'll wake up in the morning, we'll have our shade all ready to go, and it's gonna be great. Unfortunately, I woke up about 3 in the morning to our awning trying to rip itself off of the RV. A huge windstorm had come through, and I had the awning tied down in my toolbox. It was lifting my toolbox off the ground. So I had to come out and wrestle this awning down. Thankfully, a guy woke up out of his tent. He came over. He was helping me hold the awning down until this wind subsided. We fought it collectively. There were 4 of us. We fought it for, I think, an hour and a half. And then as soon as we got it under control, the wind stopped. It just stopped. And this video is Tasha recording me after the wind stopped and our awning was already damaged. What time is it, babe?
I have no idea. Hold on. Huh? 4:45. It's 5:07 now.
See how much of our roof ripped off.
I hope not. Maybe you shouldn't lead with whoever put the awning on. It's a complete check. Everybody's asleep. Except us. Didn't you get up to work on batteries?
So by now you're probably watching this and thinking, there's no way I'm ever going to do RV life. And I probably don't want to go to Circuit of the Americas because it looks miserable and hot, and apparently there are freak windstorms that destroy my stuff. Don't let all this deter you, because like I said off the jump, this is not the norm for Circuit of the Americas, first of all, and this is not the norm for RV life. You know, if you've watched our social media channels, you'll see here on YouTube, in fact, on our shorts, that we have a What's Wrong Wednesday feature, because every single day, literally every day, you could find something small that goes wrong with an RV, or big for that matter. That's just the nature of the beast. On this trip, we happened to have 10 things that happened, and there were actually little things along the way. In fact, our pet rabbit, Thumper, he overheated, and we had to literally put ice packs on him to keep him cool. That's just one of the extra little strenuous things that happened, you know, and nothing went right this weekend. So I wanted to share this with you guys because even though it was stressful and there were 10 big issues and a lot of little issues that happened over the weekend, we still ended up having a great time. And that's thanks to having friends there and just RV life in general. Like, check it out. I mean, I'm grilling out on my Blackstone with the sunset, the Circuit of the Americas tower in the background, overlooking the city of Austin. And like, that's a moment where you sit back and you think, okay, that's why I do this, because this is just everyday life. So for better and for worse, this is how RV life is. So we survived the weekend, all was good, and we're gonna get these things fixed and on to the next one. So there you go. It's not all bad. Holy crap, we survived a weekend. Did some repairs this weekend, some that we knew were coming, others that surprised us. Have a whole new bank of batteries installed. These are the old ones. Get ready to take them back, get a core return. Unfortunately, those batteries didn't fix all of our electrical issues as I was hoping it would, but looks like we have an inverter problem, and that's going to be an expensive one, but that's for another video. I will say that the generator did a great job. The RV did a great job accommodating us this weekend. The generator kept us cool. It was 105 degrees plus all weekend long. And as you can see, I'm completely sweating right now. I just got done packing everything up, but generator stayed running pretty much all weekend. It overheated a couple times, but I went to Harbor Freight and I got a fan, put on the bottom of the generator, get some airflow, and it definitely helped out. The generator stayed up. So I was very impressed, very happy about that. Anyway, that's a first weekend recap in the American tradition, our first travel weekend, and all of our friends that came over and saw it were appalled by the outside, but very pleasantly surprised by the inside, like we were. So the RV's got good bones. She did a great job for us this weekend. We're very happy, but also learning, still learning, and also experiencing some surprises and setbacks. But that's okay, that's all part of the adventure. So eventually I did go ahead and get the new batteries put in, and they bumped the power up, but as it turns out, we have a much bigger electrical issue with the rig, and we'll talk about that in another video. But suffice it to say, I was able to get the awning back in. We were able to get everything readjusted. It took several hours, but we got the Carefree awning back in. What an ironic name, by the way, Carefree awning. This thing has been nothing but a pain for us. We got it back together anyway, and we drove it back to Kansas without issue. So that's our Texas recap of Circuit of the Americas. Now, when you show up there, like I said, camping normally isn't a big deal here, but it is hard to get water. It's hard to find water, put water in the rig, so make sure you show up with a full water tank. Also, the only power hookups you're gonna have are gonna be along the racetrack, on the backstretch, and then outside of turn 3, there is a row of power, although those power spots outside turn 3 are not full hookup. So again, you'll need water. If you're on that RV corral row on the back straightaway, I think those are full hookups and you're gonna be just fine. At any rate, Circuit of the Americas is one of our favorite places, even though we've had our share of actually tears at that racetrack. We have cried there on more than one occasion. You can't beat it when it comes to the racing side of things. So Thanks everybody for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe, click the bell for notifications so you can see our next state recap. I think is going to be Louisiana. Stay tuned.